Let's talk about some of the experts that were used in the special and what they said about Jesus. First, Stephen Fong, president of the University of the Holy Land, was used as an expert and appeared in the Discovery Channel special. But what we didn't hear on the special is what he said about the name of Jesus and the main thesis. Stephen Fong said that he couldn't confirm the name Jesus. In fact, he says it may read Hanun. Then he said that he totally rejects the movie's main thesis, that is, that this is Jesus' family tomb, and he has particularly withering criticism of the statistics and how they were gathered. That's Stephen Fong. You met with him and had lunch with him just a few days ago in Israel. Tell me how the conversation went.
Well, he basically confirmed what you've said, that he thinks this is not certain that the name is Yeshua and that it could be a variation. Rachmani in his catalog put a question mark by the first two letters in this inscription because they do, in fact, run together. And we could look at this and actually compare the inscription. We could compare it to another inscription of a famous person, Caiaphas, and I think you would see the difference very, very clearly.
In fact, Earl, let's do that right now. Show us in terms of what you're talking about.
Well, if you look at the screen here, you're going to see two inscriptions, and to the right side is Caiaphas, right here, and you'll notice how each letter is distinct. In fact, the graphic has the Hebrew letters written underneath it. And then if you come over here to the Jesus inscription, which is from Rachmani's catalog done in 1994, you'll see this mark here at the start, which looks like a cross. It actually is nothing but an alignment marker for the lid. And then you come across and you'll see how these letters run into one another in a very sloppy manner. It's slanted as opposed to being straight. And so the description of this inscription as graffiti-like is actually very accurate. In fact, it's the sloppiest inscription that one could have. You can look at some of these other inscriptions on this page, which also come from this tomb, and they're much, much clearer.
All right. Tal Alan looked at that. What did she say? And she was also one of the experts used in the special.
Well, she expressed great doubt that this would be a revered figure like Jesus. This was also my immediate reaction when I saw the inscription the first time. Because again, this is an honored figure, and even though this ossuary is fairly plain, you would think that the inscription would be fairly clear.
Yeah, let's be clear of what the people in the Discovery Channel special are saying. They're saying, look, Jesus' bones were taken over here, his name was scribbled on the deal, and the fact is then they went out and preached that he physically rose from the dead.
Yeah, in fact, let me back it up a little bit and take you through the entire sequence of what has to take place. Whenever I get a theory like this, the first question I ask is, what does that culturally require in order to be in place? So let's assume for the sake of discussion this is true and then play it out. Well, first of all, they have to be able to procure a tomb. This family is from Galilee. They've come down to celebrate Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. They're planning to go back. So when Jesus ends up being arrested and crucified, that's a surprise. They don't have a tomb. They've got to procure a tomb. They've got to procure a tomb for a controversial figure. They've got to do that secretly somehow, and they've got to have the money to do it. They've got to have the means to do it because these tombs are not cheap. So they try and do that. Now they've got to get the body somehow. After they get the body, they've got to, again, by stealth, get the body into this tomb. They've got to wait for a year, allow it to decompose. You've got your ossuary sitting there waiting for Jesus to be put in it. You graffiti-like scratch it on the thing. You take these honored set of bones, put them in the ossuary, cover up the lid, walk out of the tomb, and immediately go into the town square and preach Jesus as raised from the dead, leaving no remains behind, knowing that that body is sitting there. It's just not credible.